Welcome to the podcast. I'm really delighted to introduce you to Brendan Jamieson. He is one of the smartest BSPs I've met. He's also one of the quickest people I've seen to build a business and to be willing to run experiments on what works and what doesn't, which is what's brought him to where he is. Brendan, why on earth would someone like you want to be a BSP who spends their life helping people who life is not on track for them? Life is hard. They're not easy to help. What brought you to this spot?
Well, I guess if you want to be helping people, BSP's the perfect place to start. I guess my work is definitely around supporting young people, school-age kids. BSP is, I guess, just foundational of making changes in their lives. Anyone that's out there that does have that passion, I do think BSP is the perfect place for them.
Love it. So a BSP is a behaviour support practitioner, and the bottom line is what you do is you help kids who are completely stuck in life to come up with a plan with them and their family and you and the NDIS, if that's involved, for how they're going to go from feeling stuck to actually being able to make it to school, to being able to stay in school, to being able to later on get a job. And a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, and you charge accordingly for that. You know, a lot of times people think, behaviour support practitioners, they just write reports. What do they really do?
Well, it's definitely looking for the why in the behaviour. So what the behaviour is trying to communicate. So once you've identified the why, it's then looking at how can we make it so they don't have to communicate in the same way any longer, especially if you've got some pretty serious behaviours of concern when there's risk and harm and those types of things that's happening. Yeah, it's definitely finding ways to find solutions that you're reducing those behaviours. And my real passion's just around, obviously, from a behaviour support framework, to be able to find ways in all environments, so not just home, not just school, something that actually works across all environments. Consistency.
Yeah, got it. Okay. The magic of what you do is that it works and it helps people. You've also grown your BSP work very quickly, basically just by being good at things and by being willing to take on people who others are like, oh no, I don't have that skill set, but you just do have that skill set. I guess, what are some of the things that support coordinators don't understand about behaviour support practitioners? Or what are some of the things that parents don't understand about their own kids that you help them with? Or what are some of the things that the rest of us can learn about how to get the right help for kids or teens or young adults when things are just off the planet? What do we need to know?
I guess a lot of the people I'm talking to at the moment are in agreement. There's definitely a disconnect between NDIS world and what's happening in schools. When I talk to Allied Health, they're like, well, I just can't get access to school. I can't get the school to communicate with me. The collaboration falls down. And when it comes to the schools, they're obviously looking for answers. They're finding really complex situations. I work with a lot of young people where their school refusing, they're not attending at all, or if they are attending, things aren't going so well. So there's suspensions, there's complete overwhelm. Sometimes they're looking at exclusions, which, really not good situations. So finding ways for it all to mesh. There's some really good resources in schools. There's a hell of a lot that the NDIS space can actually provide. There's a lot of things that can definitely mesh together, and when they are meshing together, it works really well. But often it isn't at the moment, and that's where my background, the fact that I have spent so long in schools, just putting those two together, that's where I can have some real wins.
I think that's fantastic. And the other thing that I find remarkable about the work that you do, well, firstly, most BSPs behaviour support practitioners are pretty amazing people. Otherwise, why would they be doing it?
Appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, it's the truth. But secondly, you really know your stuff because you were a school teacher and then you were a guidance officer in schools, like helping kids who are having tough times. And now you're a behaviour support practitioner. And I can see that you create resources that no one else I know actually creates. So I work for like a lot of different people. None of them have hit the mark on TikTok. You on TikTok are just going crazy. Like, people love you and you get a whole bunch of your work through TikTok. And I find that baffling because every other BSP I talk to, behaviour support practitioner, they're getting their work through support coordinators or through, whatever they're getting their work. Whereas here you are on TikTok making helpful resources for parents, and then work just comes to you that way, which is remarkable. How did that happen? What did you learn along the way? What can other NDIS providers learn from this so that why am I not using TikTok? That sort of stuff.
Yeah, I guess. So I've tried a whole heap of platforms. YouTube was where I definitely started. TikTok really wasn't where I was looking to start off with. It was just, I'll just throw some things on there and see what happens. And I'm still kind of doing that, to be honest. It's very good. The algorithm at targeting people, even with not a big audience, it definitely finds people locally. Like, I find YouTube is really scattergun. I've got a really big US audience, I guess percentage-wise. TikTok definitely seems to find people really well. I don't know, they've something that company has done that isn't necessarily the same as what the other big platforms are doing, but it brings in all sorts of viewers. I wouldn't say it's completely straightforward, because I definitely find a lot of families that maybe aren't looking for BSP. They're looking for just the other helpful videos that I've been putting on there. So it is working through some of that with those families, and just being generally helpful, and hopefully a bit of karma. You be helpful, good things come your way.
Yeah, well, obviously. I mean, I don't know anyone else who gets their caseload through TikTok. This is crazy. Like, wonderful level crazy. So what sort of videos do you create for people? Are you creating like 1 minute video on how to do this, or a 10-minute video on how to get your kid to school when he won't go to school? Like, what is the sort of things that you create videos for? And the reason I ask is because everyone listening, we're all thinking, okay, what should I be doing if I was to be a bit more creative with my videos?
Well, generally around supporting parents. It's been the, I guess, the basis of what I've done. I'm looking at supporting young people in neurodivergent, maybe intellectual disability, supporting behaviours around that, and with a real school focus, because that has been, using my experience, my knowledge in that space, supporting school refusals, supporting school distress, but breaking down a lot of those complex behaviours that the parents are working through, whether it's aggression, whether it's breaking things, whether it's the yelling, the swearing, all those different behaviours of concern, just providing helpful videos on that. Initially, I didn't really have a real plan. It was more just, let's provide assistance, try and help parents have, I guess, a bit of a mission to help as many parents as possible for free, aside from my BSP work, and somehow they're starting to intertwine.
Goodness me, this is fantastic. Okay, now I can see why your videos would be a lot more interesting than, say, a plan manager's videos. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a lot in what you do that is very engaging. People want to know, oh my goodness, what happened next? You know, I can see that. That makes sense. And then you've also really people are starting to know you now on LinkedIn who never knew you. How are you using LinkedIn? Because people who are listening to this, they're like, I use LinkedIn, but I'm not getting work from it. You know, they'll be thinking along that lines. Whereas I know you're going to get work from LinkedIn because, one, you've got the skill set. Two, you're in a beautiful niche of, I don't know how many other BSPs who are ex-school teachers who are just good at getting kids who will not go to school back into school. But also, you've been experimenting with LinkedIn, you've got really interesting content, and you're happy to chat with people on LinkedIn. What are you doing with LinkedIn that's working for you, or that you're experimenting with to try and find ways to make LinkedIn work for you?
Well, I've definitely, and it's probably been through conversations with other people, because I didn't come to LinkedIn with this knowledge, that's for certain. When you're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, it is post and ghost. There's still comments and those types of things, but you're just posting content. The thing that I'm finding with LinkedIn is it's really not about that. It's really not about the posts. It's about the people. So it is, you might comment on someone's post, or they might see your post, but then it's the message, like the actual connection, the building a real relationship. And there's some really amazing people I've been talking to off the platform, and that is, like, it's starting from LinkedIn, but it's then becoming real life connection, real life relationships. That's definitely different to the other platforms for sure. And it's definitely a direction that I'm still pretty new to LinkedIn. It's definitely a direction that I'm looking to just do more of. I've spent a lot of my time on just being helpful to parents. I'm definitely more looking to, how do I build those relationships, spend my time on being helpful to other professionals. And it's obviously a two-way street.
It'll pay off. That's right. If you've helped them, they're going to help you, because they're going to know that you're helpful. And I know you're helpful because you've been linking up with a whole stack of people who I know really need to meet you. What I love about LinkedIn is it's like a cafe. In a cafe, if you're waiting around for your coffee, you'll say hello to someone. Other platforms generally are, look at me, I'm so awesome. LinkedIn's more like, oh, look at you. What do you need a hand with? How can I help? I've got 5 minutes. You know, so I'm very excited for you. And then something else that you were telling me off air was that you've realized most of your competitors are actually not competitors. Like, not many people in many industries think like this, but I can see that some of your biggest advocates are actually going to be your competitors. Tell us about that. How did you go from everyone's my competitor to actually I want to have lunch with my competitor? How did that happen?
Well, it's just, I guess, a different way of thinking that my initial thoughts were they wouldn't want to speak to me, that they'll want to keep me at arm's length, especially the ones that are established and been here for a while. Like, I'm about 12 months in at this point of recording. I thought it would be more them not wanting to share the secrets and the secret sauce and all those type of things, what's working, and share connections as well. But like, I've been really blown away the types of, especially other directors that I'm meeting, that they're just there to be helpful. Yeah, of course, everyone's running a business and bottom line's important, but sometimes people are just willing to just be really helpful when there's no real other reason. It's just like, well, yeah, and that's just the kind of people that I'm meeting. But there is also people that I'm finding maybe are reaching capacity and just can't service whoever's coming to them, and that's me as well. So it's looking for the right people, trying to find people that you can connect with, you can build a relationship, yep, that person is a great person. If I've got a parent or a family that are looking for that type of support, this person's they're your person, there you go to.
I love it. So what I'm hearing here, and what everyone else is hearing as well, is that most people in the world have this scarcity mindset of there's not enough work, so I have to hoard the work that's available. Most of allied health, also for a lot of areas of NDIS, there's plenty of work. It's are they the right fit for you? Now, the first thing is you must have a niche. If you don't have a niche, well, nothing's the right fit for you. Your niche is very clear. It's young people who are having a really hard time, particularly around school. And then when you're helping people on LinkedIn or vice versa, there's people who, like you and I, will help anyone if it takes like 3 minutes. But then we'll sort of sit back and test and measure. Did that person then, were they responsive? Did they say thank you? Did they then connect you with someone else that, say if you've connected someone with a bunch of people, have they gone and done the same for you? Is it reciprocal or is it a one-way street? So I guess it's like dating, really. It's that temporary sort of sussing people out. And I might have, say, 7,000 connections on LinkedIn, but of those 7,000, there'd be 500 people in there who I would say are allies, who I would refer to, or I would send people to, or who I would somehow link up. Okay. Yep. So when you first start, you're putting time in and it comes back to you, but not from everyone. But on average, it comes back to you way, way more than you put in. And then it's also interesting, you said your competitors have been happy to help. Like, we can almost sort of reject ourselves and stop, assume that it will be rejected, so not put it out there.
Yep.
How did you bust through that? Because I think probably 80% of people on LinkedIn are still living in the realm of, I won't ask Brendan for a hand with this because he won't respond. Like, how did you bust through that?
Well, I guess it's been just taking meetings where not coming with predetermined outcomes for the meeting. Like, there's been just meetings where they've just gone a completely different tangent to, well, okay, I wasn't expecting that at all. That's my honest take has been just going open, and there's people that will talk about, as you say, coffee and cake, let's catch up. And it's just like, it does take time. And that is, I guess, the making time for that is sometimes a challenge, but what comes from that can be just well and truly worth it. So, it's just the conversations have gone in a direction that I just haven't planned, to be honest.
I love that. And I guess for people listening, if you want to have that sort of success on LinkedIn, we do have to put a few boundaries around it. So the first thing is, if I have a meeting with someone who I don't know very well on LinkedIn, it's a 15-minute meeting maximum. Unless I can see, wow, this person's like a real giver, or there's someone who's helping or whatever. Yeah. So those meetings, those coffees and cakes are always short for me. And also they're only going to be on Zoom. I am not driving halfway across the city to meet with someone. That's not happening. Okay. Yeah. I'm at my desk, welcome to my room. Hello. Lovely to see you. How can I help? Great. 15 minutes. If you can't work out what someone needs in 15 minutes, we've got a bigger problem. And then the other thing is who we say yes to for those coffee and cakes, on Zoom or whatever. There's no purpose in me having a coffee and cake with someone who's a business development manager for a SIL. Okay. That would be a ludicrous waste of my life, because that person has no capacity, no authority to say yes or to somehow say yes to anything that I sell. So for me, if someone's a director, I'm delighted to chat with them, because they'll either know other directors who are going to want my services, or maybe they want my services, but they're living at director level, which is my target market. And so I guess for you as a BSP, you're working out, well, where's your target market? Where are you willing to be generous with your time, as opposed to just solve someone's problem and move on? What are you finding as basically a one-person show at this point. Obviously, it won't be long before you're a five-person show. But what are you finding as a one-person show seems to be the sweet spot of the right people to connect with on LinkedIn?
It's actually been surprising. There's been meetings I've walked into, and virtually, where I've thought, oh, no, I'm probably not going to get much from this, but I'm just going to be nice. But it's gone a direction that there has been other people they've connected me with, or there has been just general conversations about their business, that type of thing. There has been just learnings from their work, even if they're not business owners, even if they're not directors. So it has been pretty random, like, to be honest. But certainly there's connections that reach out, and I know what they're going to sell before we talk, and I don't actually need that. Well, yeah, those are ones that I'm like, is that a really good use of time?
Yeah.
So to be honest, it's been a little bit tricky to work out exactly who. But I am at the point now where I'm like, I just need to be committing to, this is the amount of time I've got. Let's just work through. And some of those are going to be amazing meetings. Some of them, there might be just one or two things. I might be just helping them. Yeah, but still, that's a win.
Yeah, that is true. And it's interesting how the people who, to be honest, send me my work on LinkedIn are very different from the people who send you your work. But I'm also seeing that you're still in the experimenting stage. We still haven't nailed who it is who's the most helpful to you. I know you're helpful to others. I guess the difference is when you know who is most helpful to you, they're the people you have the 15-minute catch up with, as opposed to the person who, oh, whoops, how do I find myself in this spot? It's a 5-minute thing. I'll still link them up with people. I'll still help them. So I guess the question for you would be, Brendan, you're growing quickly, and you're growing basically by creating helpful content direct to parents, and you're also connecting other people with what they need and also advising them what sort of behaviour support practitioner do you need for a 13-year-old boy who won't go to school versus, a 25-year-old young lady on the spectrum who's lacking confidence and anxious. I guess what I see in front of you is so many opportunities. Most people aren't doing what you're doing, though. They're only thinking NDIS world, which is fine while NDIS is being kind to them. Right now, NDIS is being quite kind to allied health. I don't think in a year from now it's going to be like that, but we'll find out. I hope I'm wrong. What are you doing to sort of like as a placeholder to be keeping a few little things open that are non-NDIS sources of work in case that day comes where NDIS is no longer a good friend of BSPs?
Well, I definitely get a real flow of parents that come, and sometimes they just don't have a clue what they're needing or what is in their plan or understanding their plan. So I definitely have a lot of families that probably do need they do need what I'm offering, but it's just not through NDIS. So those are ones that I'm working with privately. There are also ones that it is about, all right, well, how can I help in this area, point you towards, and they might need OT, they might need other allied health, they might have things that are actually funded in their plans. So I might be able to just give them advice as to how to get things moving at school, how to advocate, how to work with school administrations, those types of things, and that's it. And then they're working with some other people that are amazing, other allied health professionals. They're working with support workers, capacity building, all those types of things.
Yeah, but also you know who the good ones are now. Yeah. So you're now even pointing them to the right people. Like, how much more helpful is that than someone generic, yeah?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't feel great just randomly sending whoever's got capacity. So definitely finding the right people. I want to feel like where they're going is going to be a good fit for them as well.
Yeah. And we don't want to be embarrassed. The other thing is, like, people make such a big deal of this. They're like, oh, I send someone to someone else. It's like, great. That's like the pizza shop. Someone comes in and says, I want a Big Mac. And the pizza shop guy's like, we don't do that here. Go to Macca's. Yeah. And then the pizza shop guy's like, look at me. I'm such a virtuous person. I sent them to Macca's. It's like, well, obviously you'd do that. What was the alternative, you goose? But I guess when I look at what you're doing, there is so much that's good there. And it means if NDIS suddenly switches off you and your behaviour support friends, you've got work coming in the front door that's not government dependent. It also means you can set yourself up for work that is not price capped. Now, I don't know too many behaviour support practitioners who are upset about the price cap. What is it, $232 or something? It's a lot. But the day will come when your price cap could be half. Who knows, right? Yeah. So when you're doing work for non-NDIS people, I nearly said non-NDIS participants. Anyway, for non-NDIS people in the real world, right? There is no price cap. You can work with people in groups. You can find more profitable models. And for a behaviour support practitioner, that's that's so exciting because you're then not just serving the child, you're also serving the family.
Yeah.
I guess what would be the biggest, some of the mindset shifts you've had to make between, oh, I used to be an employee, it was easy, I give everyone my time, life happens like it does, to now it's like, well, if you don't generate decent money, no one's going to pay your mortgage for you, and you may as well go back to working in schools. Like, how did you deal with that?
It is a real habit. So obviously working government, Department of Education employee, it is, you're there for the public benefit. So it is come one, come all, and be as helpful as possible in that space. There wasn't really the thought of the bottom line at all. It was whoever came in the door and whoever contacted, wherever the need was, support and service that person. I am just flooded with need. There's an infinite amount of need that I find within Facebook groups, like, TikTok comments, those types of things. But whether that is actually an engaged service through the guided path, sometimes not. So it is the balance of, I want to be there to help, and I want to be just a good citizen and help as many people as possible, but not overcommitting there. And that's been a challenge, finding where those lines are. That's something I'm definitely still working on, and definitely still working under your leadership there.
Yeah, and I learned from others on this too, because I had to learn this the hard way, Brendan, because I'm like you, I want to help people. That's what I do. It's my job, is helping people, but also I don't want to leave someone in a state that's no better than what they are. But if I don't do my work, if I just go and help every man and his dog with whatever they're facing, help an old lady across the street. If you were to lend someone your car, then you help your neighbour with the garden. Like, no one pays your mortgage. So for me, because I remember when I was at your stage of the game, it was so hard because I felt like a bad person saying no. So then I went and built a whole heap of resources, just some PDF files and some YouTube videos and whatever. And even this podcast is because I want people to get what they need, but I don't have time to help. Okay, I've got stuff I've got to do. So when you've got resources for someone, pretty much it wouldn't matter if, say, they're a behaviour support practitioner like you are, Brendan, or if they're, say, an occupational therapist like, say, Jack from Elevate or whatever. If you look through like 50 podcasts, there's something there for anyone. So I guess for you, like, that feeling's going to go a bit when you've got resources for them. But when I think about it, you've already got the resources. Somehow we just need to use them. How would you recommend people go about taking the resources they have and getting them out there into the world? Like, what's your plans with that?
I'm always surprised. There's so many people that have such just amazing expertise that they're holding on to, and maybe the world doesn't know about. And in a lot of those meetings that I'm having with other directors and other people in the NDIS space, I am saying, have you ever thought of? And most people are like, what do you mean Facebook? What do you mean TikTok? Yeah, and time is a big thing. But it is something that I do have a lot of conversations, because it does get your name out there, that building a brand, building a profile. And I'm still new in that. Like, that's still early days for me. But I can see how it converts, and the more you do it, the more conversions you get from it. You kind of like taken down, like I have, not just NDI pathway, privately working with different people in different capacities that I didn't really expect. Like, there's contact from people in England, people US. Yeah, there's different directions that I can be going with that. Say if a different government comes in and big changes happen.
Yeah. What excites me about that is you're a man with options. So you can say yes or no to things. And I mean, it's very hard for people in NDIS world to put time into their marketing or money into their marketing, because they're like, I could be doing billable hours. But the thing is, if you're not getting word out about you, where's your billable hours going to come from in 6 months or 12 months time? Yeah. So, I mean, for you, you've got options here. What do you want to do? I mean, one of your options would be, and I don't recommend this for everyone, you could become like the Australian get your kid back to school guru. You literally could be that. There's nothing stopping you because you have the skill set. The question is that going to pay the bills better? Or is it better for you to just have other BSPs who have too much work, pass it to you and do billable hours? But because you're thinking outside the box, like, how much would someone earn if they were the #1 guru in Australia of get your kid of suspension back to school. There's no limit.
Well, I guess it's the different resource models, and I'm still like, there's particular things that I'm starting that I'm like, oh, I didn't anticipate that. So multiple revenue streams is always the best business model, and it's definitely where I'm at the moment. It's just having the right balance of that, and I'm still to find that, to be honest. But yeah, becoming the area expert, whether there's opportunities that I still haven't explored.
Yeah, because we're limited by time. How do you not have your whole family fall apart while you spend all your life working? How do you set limitations around what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, even limitations around yourself? Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, there's lines and there's seasons as well. So I definitely have seasons where it's just grind, and there's different structures within my family. Like, my wife is amazing. She definitely holds the fort in different circumstances. Yeah, but then there's seasons where things have been a lot more flexible, and like, I've had the capacity to pick the kids up from work and go to the athletics carnival and those types of things. But I'm probably in one of those seasons at the moment, the grind season. So I'm happy to be like, it's my passion's there, and it's working at the moment, but there will be a point where, I don't know, I'm ready for snowboarding and I'm going to take off. That's probably where the lines are.
You're going to go snowboarding. Fantastic. So I love hearing that, but also what you said about seasons. Everyone wants to talk about balance. It's like, honestly, I'm not a 21-year-old. Okay. There's balance is often used as an excuse to not achieve great things. Okay. There's seasons where you got to work hard. There's seasons where you don't. It's like, what we have to do is just be real. Is this a season? Because if I'm in a season of working hard, it's gone more than 3 months, Houston, we have a problem. Okay, this is not a season. This is a life sentence. So I love what you're doing. And I mean, there's a saying that when someone is really skilled in their work, that they will serve before kings. Okay, that when someone's really good at their craft, they're never going to be short of work. They're going to work in with amazing people, having an amazing level of influence. And I think really that's where you're headed. And right now, a big part of your journey is NDIS. Another big part of your journey is TikTok and private work or whatever. But you're going places. You're going to do great things. If someone wants to learn from you or connect with you, that's easy. They find Brendan Jamieson on LinkedIn, Jamieson being spelled Jamieson. If they're driving right now and can't write that down, they can text me or message me. How else would someone find you, Brendan?
Well, definitely on LinkedIn. I'm looking to build that real presence. I've got a website, theguidedpath.com.au. On TikTok, I'm on Facebook. I'm definitely on YouTube. That's probably been where my focus is, and where there's a lot of longer form content. So definitely search me up, find me there. And I'm always looking for suggestions and I guess feedback. So I'm still looking at, different types of content that I bring to help professionals, not just the parents. So definitely keen to catch up. Anyone that's out there, anyone wants a chat to talk some more, just LinkedIn's probably the best way.
How good is that? Brendan, can I give you a dare? Can you put up a post on LinkedIn sometime that says, hey, I make content all the time for parents. What do you want? And just let people tell you what they want. Then just go and give them what they ask for. How good is that? And if you're looking for feedback, if you're looking for feedback, mate, you're a world changer. Okay. And we're very lucky to have you here in NDIS world. You're a leader of leaders at every level. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being real about the journey. And I can't imagine where you'll be in 5 years, but either way, I'm just grateful that you're right here with us now. So guys, that's Brendan Jamieson, Jamieson, from theguidedpath.com.au. And honestly, if you want some tips and stuff on how to grow your business, he'd be happy to help.
Appreciate having me.